The House Judiciary Committee is taking steps to hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt of Congress. The AG has refused to provide the full unredacted Mueller report. The Democrat-led committee will consider the contempt citation this Wednesday. Here to talk about this, Travis County Communications Director Andy Hogue and Glenn Smith from Progress, Texas. Glenn, what do Democrats expect to gain from a contempt citation?
Well, I don't think they can let it stand that an agent of Trump, in this case, the general who should represent the country and not Trump, can just pretend there is no Congress, that Congress has no authority, and he can ignore a subpoena at will. It's contempt of America. It's not just contempt of Congress. And we have to remember, in William Barr's career, he's made it pretty clear that he's a royalist, that he wants a president unaccountable to Congress or an independent judiciary. In his writings and his statements, that's where he comes from. And now he's advancing that on behalf of Trump. And I think Congress has no choice in terms of protecting the balance of power in the U.S. Constitution but to hold him in contempt.
Andy, all this is about not releasing the unredacted Mueller report. Why not just release it?
Yeah, well, look, this is all a bunch of stunts. That's what 2020 is already upon us. We're already seeing, what, 22 people in the Democratic primary. This is already the campaign season, so they're going to do whatever they can to stretch this out and move it out and find more roadblocks along the way to make this process even longer. Now, right now, I think it's a reasonable amount of time to go through and redact all the private information. There could be so many other legal proceedings that could be affected by a carelessly unredacted report. So I think taking their time is just part of the judicial process, and it might take years, but if that's the case, then, well, that's what needs to happen. If months, well, great, but otherwise, by rushing it, I think that's careless, that's ridiculous, and that's not using the taxpayers' money or time wisely. It's using contempt of Congress as a political maneuver, and we should have contempt for that.
Glenn, the Attorney General, he's just protecting the president, as you see it, correct?
That's all it could be to it, because clearly he has a responsibility to honor a subpoena from Congress. That's what the U.S. Constitution is all about. The presidency and the Attorney General are not independent and above all accountability, where they can do what they want, ignore the judiciary, ignore Congress, and that's what Barr's really arguing for that. The other day, in fact, he said, hey, if a president felt unfairly criticized, he could stop an investigation. Well, I'd love to have that right when I was stopped for speeding, where I could tell the officer, I'm sorry, it was unfair, so I'm going on my way. He thinks a president in America, in a democracy, where we're all under the rule of law, has that power. It's wrong, and Congress has to act.
Is the Andy, should the Attorney General be held in contempt, as they're talking about?
Absolutely not. Too early to tell. Not enough time has transpired. There may be a multitude of reasons why they're waiting on this, and we just need to find out the reasons before we leap to judgment. Again, the Congress is paid to represent us, not to represent the party or play dirty tricks on the American taxpayers' dime.
Okay. All righty. We got to wrap it up. Glenn, Andy, thank you both very much for coming by.